inflation is not what people have really focused on. They've actually focused on price levels. So price levels are the big deal.
Right.
Even though you talk about inflation being relatively low, the way I always think of it, prices are 100 in year one, they go to 110, inflation's 10%, and then in the next year it goes to 110, inflation's 0. But everybody's hung up. So we're really in a world where essentially people, I don't think, express things in quite the way they think the consequences that are coming. And if you impose tariffs, we'll talk about that too. So this is a world of, oh my goodness me, I didn't really understand this. But if you voted for this, then there's going to be consequences.
Well, let's do this.
You may not like the consequences.
For our listeners, for our viewers, Danny, tariffs. Can you give us your 3 cents on tariffs? What do they do? What do they not do?
Well, my good pal who's in the office 2 doors from me, Doug Irwin, taught me most of what I know, and I think will taught Tom most of what he knows too. The story I always had in my head was that free trade's a really good idea. I come from the UK, as you gather, and obviously I've seen Brexit. Brexit was essentially free trade between a big group of countries with a barrier outside it, and the UK voted, which I think is the worst economic suicide note ever written, to go to Brexit. And what we're going to see here is essentially, if this happens, we're going to see tariffs. And what tariffs do is it generates winners and it generates losers. So winners would be those who see suddenly the price of goods rising. And so there are rents to share. So imagine if you raise the price of cars, then the unions say, well, this is great because I can raise my wages because the price of cars have risen and I'm going to do really well. So the people for whom prices rise, they're going to do well. But for the consumer, prices will rise and that will hurt them. And the big question, and I think we should talk a little bit about, is, well, first, what are other countries going to do? Is Mexico going to retaliate? Is China going to retaliate? And then second, well, can you go to substitute? So I've been through 3 hurricanes in the last 3 years, 2.5 years. And one of the big things I recall was that, tariffs rose on aluminum. Well, what happened? Well, nobody's buying aluminum windows anymore. They all buy acrylic. Right? So the question is, can you substitute from those things? And in the long run, is there going to be import substitution where you end up making your own stuff?